This is a Rally Supra.
Well, it isn't yet, but over the course of this video, I'm going to turn it from the boring, lowered downpipe and tune Supra that everybody on the internet has already seen into an off-road rally monster.
Now, because literally no one has ever done this before, and I'm not a professional mechanic, there's going to be a lot of problems to solve.
So let's start with the most important part of any rally car, the suspension. Now, I know very little about rally cars, besides that they're cool, I really want one, and they are not low. Key fact. And this Supra is in fact very low. So we need to get high. And the obvious way to do that is with suspension. The only problem, literally nobody makes rally suspension for a Supra. So before we can do any sort of modification, we have to get somebody to build us custom rally suspension. How hard can it be?
Hello?
Hey, my name's Jackson. I've just got a quick question for you. It's kind of a weird one, but I'm building the world's first Mark V Rally Supra, and I need somebody who can make suspension. You were recommended to me as a potential person who might be able to do that. Do you think you could build something like that? Is that possible? I don't know anything about this, so I honestly have no idea, but I thought I'd give you a call.
Sorry, you said Mark V Supra?
Yeah, the newest Supra, 2020.
Yeah, man, I don't think that we're going to be able to help you with that. Best of luck to you.
No worries, man. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
I wish, but we don't take them.
Okay.
No, sorry.
Nope, sorry. Can't help with that. Nah, can't do that. I'm sorry. Nope. No, I'm sorry. Can't do that.
FlatOut Suspension. This is John. How can I help you?
Hey John, my name is Jackson and I'm just calling. I have a 2020 Supra, the Mark V, and I'm attempting to build the world's first rally Supra. And for that, I need someone who can make suspension, and your name was recommended to me as someone who might be able to do that. Do you think that's something that you guys could do?
Honestly, yeah, I think that we can do that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, we've never done that for that car before, but we've built a lot of rally suspension. I'm sure we can make it work.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. Honestly, everybody I've called has just told me that it's impossible, so this is hopeful. I was getting nervous that it honestly wasn't going to be something I could do.
It's gonna need a little bit of details and a little bit of time.
Dude, you're the man. All right, yeah, let me get you those details. Just ask any questions you can ask, and I'll get the info for you, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, just send me an email, and we'll figure it out.
Oh, you're the best, John. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Yes! About a month after that call, this showed up from our friends at FlatOut Suspension. So now we can get to work on making our regular Supra into the first rally Supra in the world. So let's get started.
This is going to be interesting.
Lucky for us, I'm a suspension expert.
What is this, Jackson?
That's suspension number 1.
Okay, there you go.
And then this here, see this? Number 2.
That's number 2. You'd think that would be number 1, but
A lot of people get
that's
confused.
what they wouldn't know. Yeah.
All right, now let me walk you through. So, obviously, okay, take that off. Get it off the car. I'm gonna have to. You can't do it. You're watching,
Thanks,
silly
guys.
goose.
Dude, these audiences.
Guys, why do you not? You just sit there. You don't do anything. You're making me gotta take number component 2 off.
I don't get to drive it though, unless they sign up for Mod Pro.
Mod Pro.
All right, we're gonna take it apart. This is not worth explaining.
As far as this job is gonna go, uninstalling the factory suspension is definitely gonna be the easiest part. We've done this a fair few times on other projects, and although none of them were Supras, the process is pretty similar. After battling a bit with tight bolts and stiff suspension, it's all pretty much out. We just have to pull out the old spring, and then we can start to install the new rally suspension. Oh, heck yeah, man. That makes getting the spring out look like... Ow! I punched it.
That's the worst way to take the spring out.
Dude, that was super easy and chill.
Eibach lowering springs. If anyone needs a set of Eibach lowering springs for a 990 Supra, they actually fit really nice.
You know what else
Have
is-
wheels that'll go with it. If you have a Supra with shitty springs, call us.
Hey, are those springs available? Facebook Marketplace?
Is this still available?
You know what you should do if you're also modifying your car all the time? You should get Mod Pro. I'll talk about it in a little bit. It's a little secret thing I got going on. We've been looking at this complicated suspension here that we probably shouldn't have. Feels like we have access to something that is way beyond our levels of understanding, which is probably true. And you see, it's got this external reservoir. The only issue is we don't know how to mount the external reservoir. One option would be to mount it somewhere inside the wheel well, but that's, I guess, the wrong way of doing it after some research. The other way is to get it inside the car somehow. Now you can't just go through the top of where the suspension mounts. You'd think would be the correct way of doing it, but apparently that's also not the correct way of doing it. So the actual correct way of doing it is taking the rear bumper off, then going through a vent. Sweet. So we're gonna have to figure out now how to get the rear bumper off, the fender liner, and then get this into the car, if that makes any sense. It just means that it's gonna be a lot more annoying than we were anticipating, but that's what happens when you do something that no one's done before. So there's gonna be quite a bit more destruction before there's any progress.
When you're doing projects like this, there's always extra steps that take way longer than you'd expect, and this is definitely one of them. Taking the bumper off isn't super difficult. It's really just removing a bunch of bolts, but once we move it out of the way, we've found more things we need to remove and modify. The trunk liner needs to come out so we can access the vent hole from the inside, and there's some more structural pieces under the bumper that we need to remove to access the hole from the outside. With all of that out of the way, we found the hole is actually blocked by a giant computer that supposedly controls the transmission, so we're gonna have to very carefully remove that as well. And as stupid as it sounds, cut a hole in it to fit the suspension reservoir through. With all of that done, now we can start to install the new rally suspension, which immediately is proving to be much more problematic than anticipated.
Well, team, we have a major problem. This was not ever gonna be easy, but this is an issue I was not totally expecting. It's an issue of all the arms in here. Obviously, suspension is complicated, and you need it to work how it's supposed to, and they use all these different connecting arms in order to do it. And as you raise it, bad things happen. I don't know how to best describe it, so I'm gonna have a what are we calling you?
Suspension doctor.
Now, I'm gonna have a suspension scientist explain it to you. The best I've heard in the country.
Hi.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Suspension Dr. Will here at your service, and I'm going to show you why you can't just lift a car with a coilover. And it's pretty simple, actually, if you think about it. You'd think, you make it taller, the car goes up. But it's not the case. And that's because there are many arms in your suspension system connecting the wheel and the suspension to the car. If you make the suspension longer, yes, it will go up and down, but these arms here, they don't change length, so they go, things go everywhere, it's not good. So what we need to make this work is adjustable length suspension arms. And thankfully, we have friends over at SPL who sent us some. So we're gonna go put those on the car so we can lift it, adjust the lengths, and in a theoretical world, which we don't live in, everything will work perfectly fine, and I know that because I have glasses and a sport coat. So that means I'm smart. So let's go back and install everything onto the vehicle.
With all of the adjustable suspension arms ready to be installed, we can actually start to properly turn this Supra into a legitimate rally car. Unfortunately, even if you have the right suspension arms, the right tools, and the right coilovers, that does not mean it'll be easy. And for us, it quickly is proving to be quite difficult. Removing the old arms isn't too hard, at least for most of them. And with the arms out, you can really see how much better the SPL arms are gonna be for our purpose. All right, so we have the old arm here and the new SPL arm here. And as you can clearly see, this looks cooler, but it's also shorter. So I need to adjust it. That's the whole good thing about all these SPL arms is they're adjustable, which will help us because, as you know, the geometry and trigonometry and whatever all that is off. Some of the arms aren't being as helpful though, and we are even having to use a power saw to cut one of the bolts that holds on one of the suspension arms, which is bound to be a bad idea.
Uh-oh.
What?
There's something back there. That's... Uh-oh. I hit a brake line.
Oh, man. Are we put some brake fluid? Yeah, we are.
And that's not a good spot brake line.
Since we have no idea how to fix this problem, we're gonna take a quick peanut butter break in order to think.
All right, this is a quick peanut butter break brought to you by Skippy and Mod Pro. Thanks, Mod Pro. When life gets you down, nothing like a fork full of peanut butter to cheer you right back up.
Are there giblets in here already?
What? You find yourself working on a car, something I've learned. Just eat a lot of peanut butter because it'll keep you going. I've just consumed like 1,300 calories of peanut butter. But it's so good.
After a peanut butter break to cure our brake line destruction-related depression, we did get that annoying bolt out. But even with all of the adjustable arms, the tension from the long off-road springs is making it very challenging to get the holes in the new suspension arms to line up. We're using a floor jack, pry bars, screwdrivers, and even still, it's really tough to get everything to fit. But after hours of blood, sweat, and tears, we finally have everything properly installed. So we can get on to the other side, where we have to repeat the entire process, but this time with a montage.
This kind of sucks. This coin, the average is furnish a monster. This kind of sucks. This coin, the average is furnish a monster. This kind of sucks. This coin, the average is furnish a monster.
With the other corner done, we can get started in the front. And yet again, the first step is obviously removing the stock suspension.
Now, getting the back suspension out was not too bad. The front suspension, though, I've seen some things that seem difficult about it. It's got this weird design. I'll try to show you as best I can. And the problem with it is that it sometimes gets stuck. Like the actual shock here gets stuck in its mounting point, and it's really hard to get out. I'm really, really hoping that I don't run into that problem and that the suspension comes out super smooth, but you never know. This is definitely less complicated than the back suspension in terms of look, because the spring and the shock are actually one, and there's way less arms running to it. So I'm hoping that that means it's easier, but I'm not totally sure.
It turns out, to find out if it's easier, I have to remove the factory suspension, which is really annoying. If you're a real Captain Crankshaft OG fan, you might remember when we did the lowering springs in my GTI. And getting the front struts out on that was super difficult because of the way they're held in. Well, in the Supra, luckily for us, not really, it's the same. And it's just as annoying to remove. After an embarrassingly long time messing with spring compressors, impact guns, and yet again, pry bars, the old coilovers are out. And now we can get to putting the new ones in, which immediately requires doing something really terrifying.
All right, so one of the things we were told we needed to do that we didn't really want to do, but we have to do, is cut a hole here so that way everything can fit through there properly and we can adjust the top hat, which gives you the camber adjustability in the front. I have to now drill with this giant scary hole saw. I have to go right here and just drill this hole out as perfectly as I can, which is terrifying, so that way we have more room. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do except for try, so that's what I'm gonna do. See, that's hard. Yay, hole!
With the hole removed, as well as the sway bar disconnected, Will and I can start working on installing the front rally suspension for the first time.
God, how much longer is this?
Dude, I'm telling you, it's like 3 or 4 inches long.
Literally still the same spot. What are the odds we put it up the top in there first and then get the bottom to sit through there? Go try.
Just humor me, can we try? I'll be absolutely lost if that works. Yeah, there you go. Pull out from the bottom a little bit. There we go. Nice. Say to yourself, alarmed. I'm alarmed. Honestly, now let me bolt in the top. We can even get a little bit of adjustment out of the bottom, I think, now.
With the front suspension already in, it's seeming like this process will be easier than anticipated. But as we start to mess with swapping in our adjustable arms, it's quickly taking a turn for the worse. To SPL's credit, these arms are built for a car that's being lowered and not raised. So when we try to fit them to adjust for the massive change in ride height, it simply isn't working. Unfortunately, the only solution for this problem is just trial and error. Taking arms off in different orders, adjusting things down to the millimeter, raising and lowering the suspension, using jacks to compress things and move them around, and some good old-fashioned Captain Crankshaft brute force and ignorance. But even still, it's giving us problems. After hours and hours, we've finally come up with a combination of stock and adjustable arms that appears to be working, which is such a relief.
Everything is now finally bolted up on this side. We have been struggling with it for over a day now. But I think we have it in an orientation that'll work and not crash the car when we're driving. At first, we had a problem where it would like bind against itself as you turn because the arms weren't put in the way we needed them to be. It's been a whole ordeal. I won't over-explain because I honestly don't even know how to explain it properly. But now we can do the other side and then we'll have at least the first problem solved. Higher car, better for rally, full rally suspension. There's some other problems we need to solve too. But one thing at a time. I don't want to get too deep in it yet.
Thankfully, with our knowledge from the first corner, the second side should definitely be considerably more straightforward. With the stock coilovers out, the top hat hole scarily drilled, the new suspension and arms in and adjusted to our best ability, it's finally time to appreciate our work before we get to the second step of building the Supra rally car.
The lift kit is on. Look at that, guys. Come on. That is arguably the coolest thing ever. A lift kit on a Mark V Supra. I'm honestly hyped to drive it, but we have a new problem, sadly. It's always a new problem. These are not going to work for us. These are just the regular summer tires on
Sticky
the
for the
OEM.
track. You know what I'm saying?
We're going around the track, we're golden. But if we're going around on the dirt, look, again, I don't know much about rally cars besides that they're cool, but I know that that's a problem. So, we've of course come up with a solution, but it's led to another problem. I'm gonna explain, I don't wanna confuse you too much. Ugh. We got these.
Those are so hot.
So cool.
Those are so hot.
This is a lot better. These are some actual rally wheels with the best tires in the business. These are Noki and Hakkapeliitas, and since it's winter time, this is the best tire you can have. So we have the rally wheels and tires. That solves that problem. But now, I'm gonna show you the problem this has created. And it's kind of a dumb one. Great, now for the stupid part. So you might be thinking to yourself, all you gotta do is throw that tire and wheel on the car.
So easy.
Guys, you're a genius. That's what I was thinking too when we ordered these. You know what's funny though about ordering stuff and being human?
Especially when you let me order it.
Especially when you let Will do it, is it's gonna go wrong in ways that you don't expect it to. Such as
It doesn't fit over the brake.
It doesn't fit. Oh man.
It's just, we're just destroying the inside of the wheel and the brake right now.
How stupid. Why first would you let Will order the wheels and tires? Dumb move. Second, what are you gonna do? Those are Brembo brakes. Brembo brakes are
Nice,
cool.
bro. Those are nice pieces.
I used to dream, I used to pray for days where I had Brembo
You used to
brakes.
pray for times like this.
Bro, we've got the Brembos, we've done it. But they don't fit, so we have to solve the problem. We're gonna change the brakes to smaller brakes. Whoa! Don't freak out, because I know that sounds also stupid.
We got these. And they're good because we're going on the dirt. And when you're on the dirt, you don't need brakes that stop that aggressively because you'll just slide.
But also, even better, these brakes, you'd be right. You replace them to smaller brakes, that sounds silly. But smaller brakes, especially smaller rotors, this thing that spins, spinning weight is not good. And look at them. Those are just as cool.
Whalwood.
Yeah, they're also really good brakes. This is for a drag racing setup, so we are going smaller, but it packs a punch, these little guys.
Yeah, little cuties. Hey, guys. We'll still be able to stop good, especially on dirt where you don't need as much brakes. It'll be lighter, and they'll fit our really cool rally wheels.
If you've watched our Miata series, RIP the Miata, you might actually recognize these brakes. Because for a Miata, these are the same calipers as a big brake kit, and installing them is basically the same process as on the Miata. Take the old calipers, brake lines, and rotors off, and then install the new ones. As simple as that. While doing this, we also took the time to fix the brake lines that we broke earlier, which actually wasn't as bad as I would have expected. Unfortunately though, but not super surprising with our luck, the rear wheels also don't fit over the rear brakes, and fixing that is going to be a bit more challenging.
All right, so the problem back here is that these don't fit. And we thought the rear wheels would definitely fit and the fronts might not, but it turned out both didn't fit over the stock brakes. We think we can just shave a little bit of this material off here and it'll slide over. Will that actually happen? We don't know, but there's only one way to find out. I'm gonna angle grind them. The thing that makes the car stop before we drive it really fast in a forest. So what could go wrong? I'm gonna do that right now.
While Will tackles that, I'm gonna tell you about Mod Pro. This is terrifying. Imagine a place where car enthusiasts and modification fans can come together. Well, that's exactly what our friends Aaron and Jasper decided to create after modifying their Subaru WRX together. You see, modification, kind of difficult. There's not a lot of information out there on the internet when you need it. And they wanted to create a place where you could get that information and connect with other automotive enthusiasts.
If you haven't heard of Mod Pro, well, that makes sense. It isn't actually out yet, which means you at home and me have the unique opportunity to help build what will be the best app for car people in every aspect.
Like I mentioned, there's also going to be a social aspect, so you can share your newest project, share the modifications you're putting on your cars, and really tap into the automotive community. Something that I love is how connected the automotive community actually is. I've met so many great people, but there's no place to really meet new people who share the same passion. But Mod Pro is going to be that, baby. It's going to be that and a whole lot else. A whole lot more.
And Mod Pro has a lot more features they're building in as we speak. And if you want to get early access to it, there's a link in our bio. You're going to want to sign up because we have an insane prize for one lucky person who does so. When this Supra is done, we're going to be picking a Mod Pro user at random to come fly out and test our rally Supra with us. All expenses paid by the guys at Mod Pro. So go sign up to get your own Mod Pro account at the link below. You will not regret it. Mod Pro is going to be a game changer for the car scene, as you'll keep seeing throughout the Supra series. So make sure you check them out. And now, let's get back to Will working on the brakes. With the wheels all fitting nicely, minus a bit of grinding on some bolts that just barely didn't fit, we can get the car on the ground for the first time with the new wheels and tires. And it looks pretty insane.
Okay, the car has the wheels on. It's being lowered for the very first time.
We're in a rush.
I'm terrified. We are rushing because the tow truck's going to be here to get this to the alignment very soon. Oh, it looks so cool. Oh, it looks so cool. Oh, it looks so crazy.
Does it look cool?
It looks cool, but it does have a. It's so high in the front.
Yeah,
Yeah, the wheel might rub.
All right, well, I'm gonna turn it on and drive it backwards.
We're going to try to drive even just 10 miles an hour right now. It could break everything. So we're shipping it off to a local race shop to get a proper alignment and have them help us dial in the suspension. So with the car off, we now just have to wait for the first drive.
One day later.
We broke a lot of stuff. Luckily, the guys at Wild Motorsport were able to amend pretty much everything that we broke. We still have some things that we need to fix and some things that we need to adjust because this is very new to all of us. The guys at Wild Motorsports did a great job aligning it. They got all the arms put on properly. We maybe had them flipped the wrong way at one point in time, like an idiot. Oh my God. Whoa. The Supra, I think it's ready to do a couple of donuts. So we're gonna have our resident test driver, Will. And that's gonna be scary. So I'm scared, but let's go check it out, see what it can do.
Guys, the most important part about a rally car is that it flies.
It does some burnouts, it does some slides, but this thing's gonna turn into a proper rally.
It's doing it very reluctantly, but we were already told that as soon as you cut power, the traction control comes back. We should go.
Subscribe to the channel. It's going to turn into a full rally car. It's going to be crazy. It's just not there yet, but we're going to leave before we get in trouble.